What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the JuiceBox presented by Lock City. It's Wighty here today. Happy Friday. Hope everyone's having a good start to the weekend by the time that you are watching this. Today we have episode 147 of the JuiceBox, which is going to be, of course, a review of today's IEM Cologne results, as well as best bets for each of the matchups in the group stage now, taking place tomorrow, Saturday, July 26th, and do we ever have some bangers to dive into shortly. But before we get into it, just a reminder, of course, that you can join our free tier Discord at discord.gg/LockCity. This gets you access to every cheat sheet every day across all active major sports, access to picks from all 9 of our pro cappers, and tons of other sports-specific and stat-specific data points on a daily basis to help you become a better sports bettor. We drop most of our content on our main Twitter account, which is @_LockCity, but you can also join that free Discord group and get access to everything first. Plus, in the Discord, you're getting access to every cheat sheet and every projection, whereas on Twitter, we are mixing and matching and dropping a couple each day, aside from Free Sheet Friday, which did happen today for those of you that haven't tapped in yet. In the Discord, we are doing daily picks from our capper team. We have daily projections for all active major sports. And of course, we have our Lock City cheat sheets that we are running daily for a ton of different sports and prop markets. On the CS2 side of things, this is going to get you access to my premium plays and parlays, every CS2 cheat sheet we drop, and so much more. You can get better results on your sports betting for free by joining the Discord, subscribing to our JuiceBox podcast on YouTube and Spotify, and turning on post notifications respectively so you know as soon as we drop our picks and you can get the best lines before they move too much. As well, you can follow our JuiceBox Twitter account, which is @LCJuiceboxPod, and our main Twitter account, which again is @_LockCity. For those of you that like the community aspect of things in real time, again, I do suggest joining our free Discord, which is discord.gg/LockCity. Lastly, for all of the odds discussed in today's video, we will be using thunderpick.io, which is one of the top books in the world for esports betting. You can deposit using crypto, credit card, Apple Pay, or Visa Debit, and Thunderpick has lines for all of your favorite esports, including but not limited to CS2, League, Dota 2, Valorant, Overwatch, COD, Fortnite, Rocket League, and so much more. If you visit tinyurl.com/lcthunder, we created our own short link for this promotion. You can get a 100% deposit match on your first deposit up to $600. Any amount that you deposit up to $600 will get immediately matched by Thunderpick for you to be able to use for your esports picks. We've been super profitable, obviously, on CS2, but with the deposit bonus, you can always try your luck on some of the other favorites with that free money to play with. That's tinyurl.com/lcthunder for a 100% deposit bonus at Thunderpick up to $600. All right, let's hop into what we are looking at today, or results rather for today, and what we're looking at for tomorrow. So results for today, we had some teams that ended up, we'll just go over all of the teams that ended up qualifying. So FaZe Clan ended up coming out of the play-in. NiP beat 3D Max 2-0, which was very disappointing. We'll get to overall results in a moment. GamerLegion beat Virtus Pro 2-0, so they moved on. Virtus Pro got sent home. FURIA beat Astralis 2-0, so Astralis got bumped down to the lower bracket, where they then had to play the winner of Big and Pain Gaming, which ended up being Pain Gaming. Astralis won that match, so Astralis then qualified for the group stage. Heroic beat Virtus Pro 2-0, so Heroic qualified for the group stage. And 3D Max over Tai Lu 2-0, they qualified. Oh, and then, lastly, Team Liquid over FlyQuest. They 2-1 FlyQuest, so they qualified. So here's what we're looking at for the group stage in terms of total brackets. Divided up into Group A and Group B, we have 8 teams in each group. Absolute monsters of groups. Group A is going to be terrifying. But Team Vitality, Astralis, FURIA, G2, Team Falcons, GamerLegion, 3D Max, and MongolZ. Group B, arguably equally terrifying, if not more. We have MongolZ, Team Liquid, FaZe Clan, NaVi, Aurora, NiP, Heroic, and Team Spirit. All right, so they divided this up into 6 games for tomorrow. The following two, so the only two matchups here that won't take place tomorrow are going to be MongolZ and Team Liquid, and then Heroic and Team Spirit. Those kick off Sunday morning. The other 6 are going to take place tomorrow on Saturday. We'll cover those 6. We'll give official predictions and picks for those 6, and then the last 2 we'll kind of glance over. I'm going to sleep on them and then give official predictions tomorrow. For those of you that don't know, Spirit is the team that I back the most. There's a lot of teams that I'm a fan of, but Spirit has had my heart since that Katowice Donk breakout performance a couple of years ago. So I need to sleep on it with their new look roster. That Magic's benching still kind of breaks my heart. So Team Spirit and Heroic, I'm not 100% sure. And then MongolZ and Liquid is going to be a very, very tough matchup. So that one I need to sleep on as well, which is very fortunate. So the other 6 we can go over, and those are going to kick off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So same sort of ideas today. Again, everything is BO3s, so there's no BO1s in this tournament. Everything here forward is all BO3. It's all double elimination, so in terms of format here, you will have noticed the bracket down below, but we'll quickly scroll up here to the official format. So the group stage will take place over the next 4 days, kicking off on Saturday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. There's these 2 double elimination groups that we discussed, 8 teams in each group, all matches best of 3. The group stage winners will advance to the semifinals. The group stage runner-ups will advance to the quarterfinals as the high seeds, and the group stage third place teams advance to the quarterfinals as the low seeds. And then the playoffs will start on August the 1st. We'll have a 2-day break in between the group stage and the playoffs. So scrolling down, what our playoff brackets going to potentially end up looking like here. So as discussed, 3 out of the 8 teams from each of these groups are going to make the playoffs. It's kind of a weird playoff bracket. There's not 8 teams like there have been for each of these groups, and then 16 for the prior. This is only going to have 6 teams in the playoff. So the first place teams get an immediate bye to the semifinals. If you're first place in your respective group, you end up in the semis automatically. If you come second or third in your respective group, you go to the quarterfinals, and you have to play the opposite group's opposing seed. So if you're Group B second place, you play Group A third place. If you're Group A second place, you play Group B third place. And then Group A and Group B first place, again, are awaiting in the semifinals. Winning teams then move on to the grand final. I think the grand final is a BO5. Let me just scroll back up. Yeah, so when we get there eventually, which will be on August the 3rd, the grand final is going to be a BO5, and the winning team walks away with $400,000. Total $1 million prize pool. So massive tournament here, obviously, as all of the IEM events are. So we'll go into the first 2 games here. We have odds for all of them, but they have been shifting kind of drastically as money has been moving these markets. But without further ado, we will talk about what odds are currently / what they are at the time of recording. And then as they kind of move and fluctuate, so be it. But hopefully everyone's able to catch this relatively early. So the first 2 are going to be G2 and FURIA and Falcons and GamerLegion, with the first one that we are going to cover being G2 and FURIA at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. This one, I went back and forth on this one for a while. So G2, their new look roster, I think, is going to serve them a little bit better. That roster that they were working with was Snacks, Heavy God, so on and so forth. They still have Heavy God, mind you, but wasn't really working out for them. They went out, they got Natus, they got some Pyjamas. They look a lot healthier in terms of an overall unit now. FURIA, they beat Astralis, but it's Astralis at the end of the day. They beat FlyQuest. They didn't look great against they beat Wildcard. So they're beating teams that are, I don't want to say tier 2 necessarily, but like at the bottom half of tier 1, aside from, I mean, Astralis right now is like a top 10 ranking, but is it warranted? Potentially not necessarily. I do want to lean a G2 in this one. However, what I think the safest bet is going to be for us while we're looking at the map pool and what I decided on in terms of a first leg for a safe parlay and kind of combinations of parlays. What I decided I think I'm going to do is play the 2 7:30 games together, the 2 10:30 games together, then the last 2 games, whatever they are, 1:30 together as well, and then go ahead and parlay all 6 of them. but picked out 6 what I feel are super, super safe lines for tomorrow. I'm hoping we can go 6 for 6, but even if we go 5 for 6, obviously we're still going to end up being profitable, or 4 for 6. We're still going to end up being profitable the way that we're kind of going to work things out here. So looking at the map pool, I think FURIA has an obvious advantage on Dust 2. I think FURIA plays a good Dust 2. I don't think that we're going to see Train, but with the addition of Overpass, we don't know what G2's instaban necessarily is going to be. They don't love playing Ancient. Train has been their instaban recently, but with Anubis moving out and Overpass coming in, is Overpass going to be a map that G2 likes to play or wants to play? I don't know. Aside from that point, because FURIA I think has the obvious edge on Train should we see that drawn, I think FURIA could win Nuke. I think FURIA could win Inferno. In Mirage, I don't think FURIA has a strong Mirage at all. I would probably lean that toward G2, and in fact Inferno, I would probably lean toward G2 as well. What I think FURIA is going to end up doing in terms of a map pick, if they're not able to take Train, if Train gets instabanned, I think their next best choice here and their next obvious choice here is going to be Dust 2, given G2's 25% win rate on Dust 2. So when we look at G2 on Dust 2, they've only beaten Pain. They lost some close ones, a close one to Mongols in 4 overtimes, 5 overtimes. They lost to G2 by 3, and they lost to Mongols 13-7. So not great. I don't really trust them on Dust 2. FURIA, I feel a hell of a lot better in terms of like overall confidence. FlyQuest, they didn't look overall excellent against, and neither did they against Saab. But even going back against Bait, against Aurora, against M80, some of these teams, and I know this is going back toward the major, but even more recently and as recent as today against Astralis, they did look good on Dust 2. So I lean them on Dust 2. I think they could win it, but what I think we're going to do in terms of a safe bet here for a good safe first leg, and feel free to mix and match as you'd like. You don't have to take my recommendations, but I will go over them at the end as well. The first leg that we're going to add here for FURIA, and it looks like odds have changed as well. We'll accept new odds. Is FURIA plus 3.5 rounds for their map pick. So their map pick is going to be on map 1. I'm assuming they're probably going to take Dust 2. If they can get Train, excellent, even better, they'll probably win it. But assuming they take Dust 2, I'm going to take them plus 3.5 round spread. So they can lose 13-10, they can lose 13-11, or they can win the map, or they could lose any time in overtime, essentially, as long as it's not 16-12. But we're taking FURIA plus 3.5 rounds here. So 13-10 or better for FURIA. And of course, if they win the map, that's great as well. I think they have a really, really strong chance of doing so on either Dust 2 or obviously Train, if they're able to get Train. Next one up that we're going to talk about is going to be Falcons and GamerLegion, also at 7:30. This one's going to be tricky for me. I know public consensus is really, really heavy on Falcons. I know everybody's probably heavy on Falcons, but let's dive into it a little bit deeper. So GamerLegion, we've obviously seen play at this tournament already. So for those of you that haven't been following along in this tournament so far, I know some people just hop in once we get to the bigger teams, or if you're a fan of one of the larger, more popular top 5, top 10 teams, you may just be hopping in. So GamerLegion has already played in the play-in. They took care of Virtus Pro. They took care of Complexity here. They had been looking pretty great. Obviously, they didn't drop a map. They look great going into things. They have the addition of Kersey here. Their roster has been looking strong. Falcons, obviously, their big signing here is Kaisuke. So they obviously added Monacy earlier in the year. They added Nico at the very, very top of the year on January 1st. And now Kaisuke is the latest addition to this super team. They skipped the last couple of tournaments. They weren't at Fisher, so on and so forth, to be able to prepare for IEM Cologne here. And they've been posting a lot on social media. I know they've been boot camping a lot together. They've been spending a lot of time together as a unit. Kaisuke's rating here, obviously don't expect it to be quite this high from what he was playing with on Spirit Academy. But nonetheless, he's a future superstar in Counter-Strike if you don't consider him one already. Falcons should win this overall. What I think is probably the best play for us again is going to be to kind of own in on map picks here. So if we're looking at GamerLegion, I think they could probably win Dust 2. I think they could probably win Nuke. Everything else I give advantage to Falcons, obviously in terms of percentages here, but like in terms of overall realism as well. Ancient could be what they pick. I think what they're probably going to end up doing here is taking Mirage, just because GamerLegion is absolutely atrocious on Mirage. When we look at what they've done on Mirage recently, they lost to Bet Boom, they lost to G2, they lost to FURIA, they lost to relatively close one to Vitality. I would say this is probably their strongest showing, even stronger than the 13-7 win that they had over FURIA. I think this is probably the best game that they played on Mirage against Vitality when they lost 13-9. Or this one against Spirit, but that's going all the way back in PGL Astana, which is a couple of months ago and not totally relevant, slightly different roster. What I do lean on the Falcons side of things, obviously, if they, regardless of what they take, but assuming they probably take Mirage, I could see them taking Ancients again as well, is Falcons to win their map pick. So that's going to be map 2. So GamerLegion's going to get the first map pick here as the underdog. If we're going over to take Falcons 1x2 on map 2, so we'll hop on out just so everyone can see how we're kind of accessing these odds. Going to IEM Cologne, into Falcons, we're going into map 2 markets here. And we're taking Falcons on the map 2 1x2. So the only caveat to this, obviously you see two different markets here. Map 2 winner, just straight up map 2 winner. They can win this in overtime, and you're getting 1.22. What we are taking here is the no overtime option. So we're taking it with the draw option available, which means if it's 12-12 after 24 rounds, this bet's going to lose. But it's not going to be 12-12 after 24 rounds. Falcons are going to take care of business on their map pick, and that's going to be our second leg of the parlay here. We're going to take Falcons 1.32 to win their map pick with the draw option as well. So you can consider it the three-way money line, more or less. Taking Falcons on the map 2 three-way money line. Next one up here, let's go. We have Vitality and Astralis, and then we have MongolZ and 3D Max. First one's going to be Vitality and Astralis, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Down here we have... I don't love these odds. These odds are not great. I think this has gone down even further than what it was a couple of minutes ago when I was looking at it. I believe it was around 1.2, and now it's like 1.15. Nonetheless, we have our number 1 team in the world, Team Vitality, and their brand new ugly stake jerseys with the massive stake branding across the front, going up against Astralis, who most recently looked okay against Pain, but horrible against FURIA. Not great against Tyloo in the grand final at Fisher Playground. Sure, they beat Bait, but nothing to write home about. On the Vitality side of things, obviously, best team in the world right now, 6-match win streak, and then before this loss to Legacy, they were on like a 30-map win streak or something like that. It was second longest of all time, regardless of what the actual length was in terms of maps. They were second longest win streak of all time. This is going to be an obvious Vitality, but we're not going to get the value here. Do I think Vitality wins both? Yeah, probably. What I think, again, is going to be the safest bet in terms of a recommendation is Vitality to win their map pick. So we're going to scroll down. What's Vitality going to take? Anything that they want, to be honest. I could see them taking Train. What they'll probably do is Dust 2. I don't think they're going to give Inferno a chance just because Astralis has had some relative successes on Inferno. Same with Nuke, one of their other favorites. Give me Dust 2 for Vitality. I think that's what they'll end up taking for their map pick. As such, I think, actually, regardless of what they take, they're going to end up winning their map pick, but I'm assuming it's going to be Dust 2, and give me Vitality to win their map pick. Same sort of idea. We took them on the 1x2, so we'll hop on in here. Map 2, which, again, going to be their map pick. We're going to take Vitality, similarly to what we did with Falcons on the 1x2 with the draw option, so we don't want it to be tied 12-12 after 24 rounds, but it won't be. Vitality will take this home. Again, probably on Dust 2. Give me Vitality on the money line as a safe third leg. We'll move on to the fourth game, which is going to be MongolZ and 3D Max. Again, also at 10 o'clock Eastern time. This one for me is just going to be MongolZ on the money line, which public agrees with as well. Shout out the public. That went down when I voted on it, which was weird. So scrolling down slightly, MongolZ number 3 team in the world. 3D Max, I did not like what we saw out of them. I know that they beat Tyloo, and those were close against Tyloo. I would say that Tyloo lost that more than 3D Max won that, if you know what I'm talking about. Tyloo outplayed themselves. Ninjas in Pyjamas, 3D Max did not look great against. I'm not big on Nip. I know people are high on Nip right now. I know people think Nip are going to make a run. I'm not super high on them, but they have been playing well. You have to give respect where respect is due, obviously. But in terms of this loss, yeah, it's a big stain, but I think it's a bigger stain than people would make it out to be. I think this is a bigger red flag than potentially first glance when looking at it. And I'll leave it at that, and we'll see how the tournament progresses. They did beat MIBR, but MIBR did not look great here, and they lost to Tyloo. On the Mongol side of things, obviously they lost to Vitality. They had a loss here to FaZe, but outside of that, they've been beating, and they did beat FaZe in here as well. They've been beating a lot of top teams in the world. The last time that these teams saw each other was way back at PGL Bucharest in April, or June, whenever that was. June. Bucharest. I don't know what way these dates are going, if they're going month first or date first on HLTV, but whatever Bucharest was. I think it was in June now that I say that out loud. They lost that. So they lost on Anubis 13-10. They lost Inferno 13-10 after winning the first map, Ancient 13-11. They then lost the next two subsequent maps. I think this is going to be a really nice revenge game for Mongols. Give me Mongols on the money line as kind of a no-brainer. I don't think there's a map that 3D Max can win. I like Mongols -1.5 as well. If you want to get juicy, I think they probably 2-0 them. But in terms of playing it super safe, what we're going to do is take Mongols on the money line as our next leg there. So that one's fairly obvious. We're just taking Mongols on the money line here. Last two of the day, going to be at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, are going to be NaVi and FaZe, and Aurora and Nip. On the NaVi and FaZe side of things, this one, I don't know in terms of a winner. I've gone back and forth on this one in my head a couple of times. I like both of these teams. I would like to see this go at least 3 maps. But what I decided on in terms of a best bet, and I know this is kind of a new look NaVi here, but I think they're still going to be super competitive. FaZe is going to get the first map pick here, but what I'm going to take for the first map, when we go down here and take a look at what FaZe is probably going to pick, yeah, it's probably going to be Ancient. If not, it's probably going to be Nuke. I think NaVi is going to hold their own on each of those maps. Do I think they win it? Probably not. I think each of these teams win their own map pick, and it probably ends up coming down to the decider. But I think both of those first 2 maps are going to be super close. So as a result, what we're going to take for this one is going to be map 1 over 20.5 rounds. So what we need for this one, I don't know why it's on the bottom of my bet slip, but nonetheless, we will click back into it just to show you all how to find it. This one here, we are going to go into map 1, and scrolling down, I know Thunderpick has a ton of different lines here. Scrolling down to total rounds for map 1, we want to take over 20.5. So we need each team to win at least 8 rounds. A team can win 13-8, 13-9, 13-10, 13-11. They can win in overtime, so on and so forth. We need at least 21 total rounds. So it's got to be at least 8 on either side, 13-8 or higher. That's what we're going to go with here. Map 1. Map 1, again, is going to be FaZe's pick. I think soars over. We could get close to overtime. I think all 3 maps here are going to be super competitive for NaVi and FaZe. That's going to be our 5th leg. And the last one is going to be Aurora and Nip, also at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, to kind of round out our day here. This one, I know public is leaning Aurora. I kind of feel like Nip. So Aurora doesn't have Major for this one. They're here it says that they do, but I'm 99% sure that they don't have Major. I think HLTV's got that mistaken. But they do have XFlout as their sub as far as I know. Let's click into this and see what's going on, see if we can get to the bottom of it. I don't think they're going to tell us on HLTV, but nonetheless, I'm 99% sure they don't have Major for tomorrow. What I think probably ends up happening is Nip wins this. Do I want to bet Nip? Hell no. I have absolutely zero desire to bet Nip moneyline. Even Nip to win their map kind of scares me. So where we're going to settle, because Nip I do think, where's map pools? Nip I do think obviously has a ton of advantages. I think they probably pick either Train, because Aurora has not won a single map on Train. Mind you, who they've played on Train has been good teams, but they've been getting absolutely demolished. They lost 13-3 to Astralis. They lost 13-3 to Heroic. They lost to MongolZ. They lost to NaVi. And then here, they obviously lost to Nip. So then going back, Nip knows that they can win on Train already, but what I think they'll probably end up doing here is taking Nuke. 21 maps, they have an 86% win rate, or potentially Ancient, 13 maps, 62% win rate, and Aurora barely plays it. You don't know. That's usually their insta-ban, but you don't know if they're going to ban Overpass. I don't think Nip ends up playing Overpass here. We just saw them play it the one time. Obviously, they beat Heroic 13-9. They did have a good showing on it, but I don't think they try their luck this early on in the group stage. No one could really afford a loss here. It's double elimination and you're out. So I don't think they're going to try their luck with Overpass. If they do, I will bite my tongue and be pleasantly surprised, and best of luck to both teams. But I think they probably end up taking either Nuke, Train, or Ancient. As a result here, what we're taking for our last leg is going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas plus 3.5 round spread on their map. So we need Nip to win the map or lose 13-10, 13-11, or any loss in overtime that isn't 16-12 or an overtime sweep there. So we're going to take Nip plus 3.5 on their own map pick as our final leg. So overall, what we are looking like is going to be this. We got FURIA, map 1, plus 3.5 rounds. We have Falcons, map 2 on the money line. We have Team Vitality, map 2 on the money line. So for both of those teams, again, that is their map pick. We have MongolZ on the money line, 1.32. We have FaZe and NaVi, map 1, 1.52 times for over 20.5 total rounds. And then lastly, Ninjas in Pyjamas, map 1, plus 3.5 rounds at 1.38. If you combine all of those legs on ThunderPick, that comes out to 6.65 times your money. We're going to go ahead and lock in a unit on that right now. So we're going to put $100 on it. It's going to pay 665 US, so we'll run that. And then let's go ahead and run a couple of combos here as well. So we'll scroll back up to the top, and we're going to do it time by time. So first one up here is going to be FURIA and G2. We want map 1, FURIA plus 3.5. And then we're going to take Falcons, map 2 money line on the 3-way. So that's going to be 174. Not great, but again, we're throwing another unit on it. It's going to pay us 174 bucks when it hits. I like it. Next one up, what were the next two on there? Vitality, map 2 money line, and MongolZ match money line. So we're going to take Vitality, map 2 on the money line, and MongolZ match money line. That's 1.82. We're going to put another unit on that, so 182 bucks when it hits. I like it. And then lastly, we're going to have FaZe and NaVi, map 1 over 20.5 rounds, which I think was way down here somewhere. I like that. And Nip, map 1 plus 3.5 rounds, which is going to pay us 209, and we're going to throw another unit on that. So overall, what we're looking at in terms of slips for review, first one here is going to be the one for the long haul. We are going to throw a unit on it for tomorrow. I do feel good about all 6 of these lines. That's going to be what we had already reviewed here and what is up on the screen. So again, FURIA map 1 plus 3.5 rounds, Falcons map 2 money line, Vitality map 2 money line, MongolZ match money line, map 1 for FaZe and NaVi over 20.5 rounds, and Nip map 1 plus 3.5 map spread or round spread. Sorry. And then what we're going to take for our second one is going to be the 7 o'clock games, which is going to be FURIA plus 3.5. So we're just going to combine same picks, but we're going to combine them by times. So FURIA plus 3.5 and Falcons, that's going to pay us 1.74. We're going to take Vitality, map 2 money line, and MongolZ match money line. That's going to pay us 1.82. And then NaVi and FaZe over 20.5 total rounds, and Nip plus 3.5 rounds for map 1. That's going to pay us $209. So honestly, look forward to hitting all 4 of these. I don't doubt that we'll probably hit at least 2 or 3, but looking to come out profitable overall here. Maybe we'll have a couple more live ones. So obviously for those of you that are not yet in the server, you see it at the bottom of the screen here. It's discord.gg/LockCity. Go ahead and tap in. We will probably be having plays throughout the day tomorrow in at least my channel, in the Wighty channel. We'll have a cheat sheet coming out tonight for a lot of these plays and our 4 best bets. You will see it again obviously on Twitter as well for Free Sheet Friday. And if you like the content that you've been getting on here, make sure to give us a like or a subscribe, here being either YouTube or Spotify, depending on where you are listening. Make sure to leave us a comment as well if you are tailing along with any of these picks, if you're making your own picks, if you're taking any suggestions from here, whatever you end up building for your parlays. I would love to see them in the comments. Love to discuss with you and discuss what you've cashed on so far this tournament. I know there have been a couple of upsets, but a lot of straightforward ones. So I know a lot of people out there are making a lot of really good money with us. Overall, 4 results today. As y'all know, unfortunately, we did go 3-2. Tyloo dropped the ball and Astralis dropped the ball. So we ended up losing just 2 units there, which is fine. In the grand scheme of things, we're up, I think, 221 in the last 3 years on CS, so we can afford a couple of units here and there, and today just happened to be one of those days. So we'll bounce back tomorrow, no big deal. Again, picks on your screen here overall for all 6 of them, and hope to bring y'all some cash tomorrow. See y'all bright and early for some tracking in the Discord, and otherwise, see y'all later here tomorrow for another CS video. Thank you very much, and take care. Peace.